Hello everyone, my name is Sushma Sandepogu, and as Jan already mentioned, I am part of the SAP Analytics Product Management Group. Right now my main focus is Lumira and Design Studio, and I welcome you all to this webinar. In today's webinar, we will try to cover three features: report-to-report interface, facet filter and data binding, and bookmarking and online composition template. So these are the three topics which we will try to cover, and I do have demos for all these three topics. So the first one is report-to-report interface. So this feature is basically delivered with the Design Studio 1.4 version. So when you say report-to-report interface, I would say like it's jumping from one report to other in a report, or in the Design Studio terms, I would say like jumping from one application to the another application. And if it's a BW use case, then it is very simple. In the BW, we have a transaction code RRI, where you can go and configure the source query and the target query. And also in the Design Studio app itself, under the tools and preferences, you can specify the query jump or the target application where the jump is going to happen. And if you have and if you're not using a BW system, then you can use the OpenDoc links in order to jump from one application to other applications. And you can also pass parameters using this OpenDoc links. And yeah, you have different options to do this. And okay, let me remove this. And here is a quick information. This is a little information which I took it from the administration guide. So on the left side, you see the you see the steps on how to configure the report-to-report interface in the NetWeaver mode. And on the right side, just a little step to configure the report-to-report interface when you are using the Design Studio in the BIP mode. And in our demo, we will have a source application, and then we will also have a target application. And at the below, you can see under tools preferences, where we have this report-to-report interface. We have to specify the target application, and in our demo, we will be doing it in the local mode. So on the BW side, we will be using the BW as the data source for our demo. So this is the transaction code RSCBS. So in the BW system, once you log in into the BW system, you have to go to this transaction code RSCBS, and you have to maintain the sender query and the receiver query. Once you do the assignment, then your Design Studio, and you can go back to the Design Studio, and you can run your source application, and then and you can select a value from your source application, for example, a cross tab, and then you select a value. Then it will jump to the target application, or it will go to the target application, and by taking the parameters, whatever you have selected in your cross tab. I do have a demo, so let me just play the demo for you first. So I am in the Design Studio application. Now I'm just creating a new application. So desktop browser is going to be the template category. I'm going to select the blank template because I just want to create a simple application. So now we are just adding the data source. I already have the BW system selected. That's why it's already there. Connection is active. Now I'm just going to create the data source. So now I'm just trying to search for query. Yep, that's the query which I've selected. Make sure you remember this query name, because when we try to configure the sender and the receiver query, we have to give this query name in the BW system. Now just going to the edit initial view to make sure we have the all the columns and rows selected. So let's just keep it the way it is. And we also have a background filter which is set to October 2015. So cross tab is created and data source is automatically assigned. Just adjusting the cross tab so that we see all the values. Our source application. Now we are creating one more application, which is our target application. So same like what we did before, just creating another application using the blank template and adding the data source. But this time we will select a different query. So previously we selected the Q0010 and now we will select the Q0016 query. And then again in the edit initial view, make sure you have the rows and columns selected. Okay, and create cross tab. Resize your cross tab so that you can see all the content. And save your application. So source application and the target application. Tools preferences of Design Studio. Make sure you specify the target system under report to report interface, because that's the system where our query or from the source system, from the source application, it will go to the target application. So we have done this. Now we will go to the BW system. So give the username, password. So the transaction code RSBBS. So here you have to mention the sender information, that is the query which we have used in the RRI source application. So, yep. And then click on the create. And now make sure you select the report type as BW query, because we are using BW query in our source and target application. And under the report receiver object, give the query which we have used in the target application. Yep, save it. And then now let's go back to the Design Studio and run the RRI source application. Yep, that's the one we will run it. And then now here you can see the cross tab. Now let's select the EMEA. On the context menu, you would see the jump to option. Revenue simple is the target query, and you can see we have selected the EMEA in the source application, and now that parameter is passed, and we are seeing all the countries within the EMEA in the target application, and we have selected, I think, monitors. So we see all the values now. So now a jump happened between two applications. So we jumped from RRI source application to the RRI target. And now let's just select the France mobile devices, jump to the target application, and you see under France we just have one Paris. So that was a quick demo on the report to report interface. Now moving on to the, so previously until like 1.4 version, if you want to apply, if you are using a basic components within Design Studio, and if you want to apply some filtering, for example, if you are using a dimension filter or a drop-down box, and if you want to apply some filters to your cross tab or a chart, then usually you need to write a small piece of script in order to make that work. But with 1.5 1.5 version of Design Studio, we have this new data binding feature wherein you can achieve a little bit of the filtering options and all those stuff. You can achieve it without having to write any script. The system automatically generates the scripts for you. All you have to do is like you have to do a binding between your basic components to your data source, and whatever analytical components which are using that data source will have the results. In the sense, if you are applying a filter to the data source 1, and if that data source is assigned to cross tab 1 and the chart 1, then all the filters which you have applied to the data source will be reflected on your chart, so that's the data binding feature. And in this webinar today, we will try to use a custom component called as Facet filter. So this is not delivered with the product, but this is there on the SCN page, and it is available for download on the GitHub. I will show you where to go and download the Facet filter. So we'll try to do that in the demo. So basically this Facet filter, it more or less looks like an explorer where you can select multiple dimensions, and your whatever the selections you make, those will be moved to the top, something like that. So we will try to use that instead of using the delivered components. We'll try to use a custom component. We'll download it from the SCN or from the GitHub, and then we will upload that as an extension into the Design Studio. We will try to use that Facet filter in the application, Design Studio application, and then we will try to use the data binding feature with the Facet filter. So as you can see, here on the SCN page, this is the blog. In the presentation, in the last slide, we have put this link to this blog. So if you are interested, you can try out. And this is the data binding feature. Once you have uploaded your Facet filter component into the Design Studio, so once you select the Facet filter, under properties, you see this little arrows, 2 yellow arrows going in opposite directions. So this is the icon which you will use in order to use the data binding feature. Once you select this icon, it will show you the input binding and output binding. Since this is a custom filter, so we just have the data set binding option. But if you are using the basic components which are delivered with the product, then usually you will see something like this, the dimension member binding and filter binding, something like this. And you have to mention the input binding, that is the data source, and you have to assign a data source. And if you are using, for example, take a drop-down box, then you have to mention which dimension from that data source will be assigned, will be used by that drop-down box. And then what's the target data source which is going to get affected when you make a selection from that drop-down box. So that's a little bit about the Facet filtering and data binding. Now let me show you a demo. So last time I had an issues with the system, so to be on safer side, this time I just recorded everything. So this here, so we will try to first we will go to the SCN page where we have this blog with the link to the GitHub from where you can download the Facet filter. So this is the SEN page, and then as you can see, this is the SEN page, and if you scroll down to the page, you will see the link to the GitHub from where you can download the Facet filter. So you have to go to the data bound section, and under the data bound section, you can see the Facet filters. And here, it's a free download, but for few extensions, if they are developed by a partner or something, then they will charge you. But this Facet filter is free. So let me go back a little bit. Yeah. So now I have downloaded the Facet filter onto the desktop. So under Tools, I want to show this option. Once you have downloaded, go back to the Design Studio, and under Tools, install extensions to Design Studio. That's the option you have to select. So Archive, select to the location where you have downloaded the zip file, and click OK. And then if it is already installed, then when you click on that Show Installed, it will show you. I have already installed it, so I have everything now. And now I am opening a Design Studio application. I did not want to create everything from scratch, so I have the template already ready. So now I'm gonna create a data source. So BW system I will be using, and then now just searching for the query. And then go to the Edit Initial View to make sure you have made some selections into your rows and columns. So I have product category, product, and region under my rows, and then 2 measures. Okay. And now I will try to add the components to my cells under grid. So my Facet filter, since I have installed the extension into the Design Studio, now it is available within my Design Studio. And so I just did a quick search, and then I'm going to drag and drop the Facet filter into my grid under cell 00, just resizing it to make sure it fits properly. And then I'm also going to use the chart picker, which is also a new component which is delivered with Design Studio 1.5. So basically this feature is this component used when you want to change the chart type during the runtime, and then also add a crosstab. And last, we will just add a chart. Now assign the data source to our components. Here, as you can see, we are using the data binding feature to our basic component or to our facet filter, which we have just uploaded into the Design Studio. So select the measures. And then next to the cross tab, we also have to assign the data source. So for the facet filter, we have assigned DS1. So whatever selections we make, those filters will be applied to our cross tab. Yep. So just, I'm not sure where I got disconnected. So now we are assigning the data source to the chart also. So all the three, like the facet filter, cross tab, and the chart all use the data source 1. And then for the chart picker, we just have to give the chart reference as chart 1 because we just have one chart. So it's going to be easy. And then we have to write a small script on the startup. So selecting the facet filter and reload data source. So it will just fill up the facet fill when we run the Design Studio application. The facet filter will have the values from data source 1. So it's a small two lines of code, I would say. Just we have to write to make sure that our facet filter has the data from or the values from data source 1, and upon selections, those get reloaded. These are just the small display settings. If you want, you can use it. If not, you can ignore it. Now we will save our application and then we will try to run it. So at the above you can see the facet filters. It looks different, more or less something looks like an explorer. We can see the similar thing. And then we have our chart picker, and at the bottom you can see we have the cross tab and chart. Now we will try to make some selections in the facet filter, and those filters will be applied to our cross tab and to the chart. And also one more thing, whatever selections you make, you see that those are moved to the top. And now so we have selected monitors, notebook standard, and then region as California. We see the same values in our cross tab chart, and also the venues, and we have also changed the chart type from column chart to the bar chart, column chart to the pie chart, and I'm sure Jan wouldn't like this. I used a pie chart. And then just changing the chart type. Yep, so that's the feature about, that's the quick demo on the data binding and how to use a custom facet filter within the Design Studio. And now the next feature is bookmarks. Bookmarks, it's yeah, a lot of our customers, they use bookmarks, and it's quite an important feature within the Design Studio. We have introduced the bookmarks feature with the version 1.4, and we have enhanced it a lot in the version 1.5 by introducing some more templates, like the generic analysis template, or the data discovery and visualization template, or the online composition template. But for this this webinar, we will only try to concentrate on the online, a little bit on the online composition template, and we will also try to simulate the functionality of online composition template by using it in the local mode, by creating by creating a online composition template locally, which will be doing more or less the same what online composition template would do. So, so bookmarks, basically bookmark is something where you want to save the state of the application or a particular piece, or I would say a visualization. If we want to save it, then we use bookmarks for that. In Design Studio, we have 3 types of bookmarks: standard bookmarks, fragments, and portable fragments. So standard bookmarks are used when you want to save the state of the entire application. That is where you use the standard bookmark. And we have the other type of fragment bookmarks, or portable fragments. This is used when you want to just save the particular visualization, only a selected part of the application, or one visualization. When you want to save that, then you use the portable fragments or smart objects. And as you can see here, this is a screenshot which I took from the CMC. So bookmarks are managed in the BIP. When you are using Design Studio in the BIP mode, then bookmarks are managed through the CMC. And in the CMC, as you can see, we have the standard bookmarks, we have the fragment type bookmark, and then portable fragment bookmark. The main difference is, like, for the standard and fragment, you see there is no group identifier. But for the portable fragment bookmarks, you see we have the group identifier and called as online comp. So this is the identifier which is used by the online composition template to read the portable fragments. So the major difference between a standard bookmark and the portable fragments is that when you save a particular visualization as a smart object or portable fragment, then those fragments can be read by the online composition template, and you can build a dashboard using these smart objects with the online composition template. And these smart objects will be coming from different data sources which are created by different users. So the standard bookmark, as I already mentioned, if you want to say save the state of the, if you want to save the complete application, then you would use the standard bookmark. And standard bookmarks, it's a unique combination of, analysis application and the analysis application version plus the application user. And this is a very important KBA article. So make sure when you are using bookmarks, make sure you go through this this note, because it has listed all the limitations and also what works and what doesn't work in the current version. So it has everything in there. Make sure you read this if you want to use the bookmarks within the Design Studio. And the portable fragments, as I mentioned, if you want to save a particular theme or particular section or a visualization, then you would use the portable fragment. And we use portable fragments in the online composition template to create a dashboard, and all these portable fragments or smart objects, they will be created by different users, and each fragment will have a data source which is each smart object will have a different data source assigned to it, coming from different databases maybe. So the reason why I am showing you this code is because we will be trying to simulate the online composition template, and we will try to create the portable fragments, and we'll try to read those portable fragments using our simulated app, which we will do it. I will show you the demo how to do it, and we will do this in the local mode. You can try the same in the VIP mode or in the NetWeaver mode. Of course, you have to do a little bit configuration, but otherwise it should work in local mode, VIP mode, or NetWeaver mode. The main code which we will modify is this one, the online comp, which I said is the group identifier. And once you have this group identifier, once you have this group identifier assigned to your portable fragment, then online composition template would be able to read your smart object. And once it reads, you will be able to use that to create your own dashboard. So this is the delivered online composition template, and usually it is used by some business users or the power users. This is the first, basically the online composition template. It has 2 pages. The page 1 looks something like this. So whatever you create in the page 2, those fragments, that particular dashboard or the style of that dashboard will be appeared on the page 1, and this is how the page 2 looks like. So once you click on the create, you are going to create a dashboard using the smart objects coming from different data sources which are created by different users. So this is the page 2, and in the page 2 you can see here on the right side you have the fragment gallery, which lists all the smart objects which are created by different users. So you can drag and drop these smart objects into the design area, and then you have your split containers here. So you can drag and drop your smart objects into the split container. So this this visualization, it might be using a data source coming from HANA, or this visualization, it might be using a data source coming from a BW system, and this can be from another system or universes. So you can use all these smart objects and create one dashboard, and once you create the dashboard, that will appear as a tile on the page 1. So this is the delivered template. So we will try to simulate the similar functionality using a blank template in the design studio, and we will do it in the local mode. So this is the use case. Actually, my colleague Ravi Nangara, who is also there who is attending this webinar, he was supposed to present this webinar, and these are his topics. He has put together the content, and due to some last-minute commitments, he couldn't do it. But he's the one who has actually created this app. So here is the use case. Basically, we will try to create 2 applications, one with the user sales and the other one with the user finance, for example. And then both the users will try to create the portable fragment, and we'll try to save it in the respective assigned folders. Like the sales underscore user will create portable fragment, and then he will save it to the sales folder, and then the finance underscore user, he will try to create the portable fragments based on his finance query, and then he will try to save his portable fragments to the folder, finance folder. And also in generally with the customers, usually they'll have all the folder permissions assigned to this user. The sales user cannot save it to the finance user folder. Likewise, the finance user would not be able to save portable fragments to the sales folder. But an administrator, he can come, like a power user, he can come and he can see both the smart objects in both the folders, and he can build a dashboard with the smart objects coming from these two different folders, like the sales folder and finance folder. So this is the application which is created locally, which more or less looks like online composition template. Yeah, in the online composition template, we had this fragment gallery to the right and then the split container to the left. But in our custom-made composition, online composition template, we have the split container to the right side, and you can see we have two cross tabs. One is the sales fragment, the other one is the finance one. And here you have a drop-down box. And then here you have your fragment gallery listing the different smart objects which are created by these two different users. And so here you can see this is the code which is actually used to save your fragment or save your smart object. And if we are using an online composition template, then you saw previously here we had the group identifier as online com, but since this is our custom application, so we have taken this code and changed this group identifier from online composition, online underscore com to frag underscore sales. So we have changed it for the chart, and then also we have changed it for the cross tab, and then chart and the cross tab. And this is the little code which we have to write in our Design Studio application, so that our application can read these smart objects which are created by these two different users. And this is where the location of the bookmarks, if you are creating the bookmarks in a local mode, so under your analysis workspace, so when you open your repository, so Design Studio and then application and open repository, then it will take you to a folder. Just go back one step and then select the, go to the repository, select the technical content folder, and you will see a bookmark folder. So under this bookmark folder, you will see all the bookmarks which you have created locally. This is the location where they get saved. And if you see here, I just opened one of the bookmark, and then you can see we have the group identifier frag underscore sales. So this is the group identifier through which our template or the custom application will read all the portable fragments which have this frag underscore sales as one group identifier. So it will group all these bookmarks, and then it will put these bookmarks in the folder, sales folder. And similarly, I have frag underscore finance. So all the bookmarks which have the group identifier as a frag underscore finance, those all will be read and will be put in the finance folder. So, and just as an information for you, if you are using it in the NetWeaver mode, then all your bookmarks will be created in these 3 tables. And if you are using it in the BIP mode, I already showed this to you. So you just have to go to the CMC and and then select the application. And in the application, select the Design Studio Runtime. On the context menu, you see the Manage Bookmarks option. And under Manage Bookmarks, you see your bookmarks, portable fragment bookmarks, or the standard bookmarks, or the regular fragment bookmarks. And you can identify a portable fragment or a smart object by using this group identifier. So let me play you the demo. Okay. So I have already created 3 applications using the generic analysis template. So I have the webinar finance application, then I have the webinar sales application. So this application is created by the sales user, and this one is created by the finance user. And these they both will try to create the portable fragments, and they will save it in the finance and sales folder respectively. And then I also have the webinar composition dashboard, which, for example, which will be created by administrators. So let's just play the demo. So the first finance webinar_finance application is just a generic analysis template. So that's why we did not assign any data source, anything as such. So as soon as you create you select the generic analysis template and you create the app, you just simply execute the app, and on the runtime you will select the data source. So we are selecting the BW system, and then we will try to select a query. Since it is the finance, this is the application which is created by the finance user, so we will use a query which shows some revenue information. And we have the revenue simple. We will select that query, and now we will try to simplify a little bit. It says too much of data. So you have to click on this little icon so that the data gets refreshed and your selections are reflected to your cross tab. And now we are saving it as a portable fragment or smart object. When you click on the save application, then it saves the entire application, but when you click on that save view, it only saves the cross tab or only the visualization. So now we will go to the chart view mode, and then the same, we will try to save it as a smart object. Similarly, we will do the same thing for sales. So I will simply fast forward this one. So we will select a different query for sales users, and then we'll try to use product group and product under rows. So we will again save this cross tab as a view, that is as a smart object or a portable fragment. So just saving it in the chart form also. So now we have actually created 4 portable fragments, 2 in the two by the finance user and 2 by the sales user. Yeah, and now we are in our third application, which does the same functionality of an online composition template. So we will try to create that. So I'll try to fast forward this one. Right now we are just trying to add some components, some basic components to the design areas. First, we have added the drop-down box. The reason why we have added drop-down box is like we have 2 folders. One is the finance folder and one is the sales folder, and these 2 folders have the portable fragments created by the 2 different users. And we are now trying to add a fragment gallery, which will have all the smart objects listed here. And then we will have a list box just to show all the available bookmarks. Just renaming the text to user profile, and then renaming the other one to available fragments, and then the fragment gallery. Now we will try to add a split container to the cell 2 of grid layout. So this is the split cell container where we would drag and drop all the smart objects and try to create a dashboard. So now I'm just trying to adjust the layout of this split cell container. And once that is done, now we have to assign the values to the drop-down box. Now I'm just assigning the values. That is, we have, as I said, we have 2 folders. So frag underscore sales, all the smart objects which have this frag underscore sales will be saved under this sales folder. And then we have the other one, frag underscore finance, and those will go to the finance folder. So I'm just adding those items to the drop-down box. And then I have to add a little bit of scripting. So it's just we are telling the app to select all the bookmarks which have this frag underscore sales, select them, and then add it to the fragment gallery. And then when we select the value frag underscore finance, or when we select the finance folder from the drop-down box, then make sure the fragment gallery is filled with the smart objects which are created by the finance user. So that's the script we have added here. It's a simple, straightforward script. So we have now on the startup script, we have to add a little bit more. We have just making sure that, like, on the startup, the list box is filled with all the bookmarks which are created locally by these 2 users. And yeah, that's it. We are just assigning these portable fragments which have these extensions, and then we are assigning them to the fragment gallery and then to the list box. So this is a little bit adjustments which we are doing to the layout. So I will just so it's just saving it. I'm just going to fast forward this. I just created 2 more additional fragments because the one previously which we created has lots of data. So I'm just going to fast forward this. Now I am back into my webinar composition dashboard, saving the application, and then now we will try to execute the application. As you can see, we have the 2 types of folders. Yeah, 2 types, sales and finance, as you can see. So when we select the finance folder, we see all the fragments or the smart objects which are saved by the finance user. And when we select the sales folder, then you will see all the fragments which are saved by the sales user. And here in the list box, it just lists all the fragments, all the bookmarks which are saved by all the users. So now I'm just gonna pull the smart object, the webinar_finance, to the split container, and then go to the sales folder and drag a smart object which is saved by a sales user. So here you can see we have a webinar_finance. This is the visualization or the fragment, a portable fragment which is created by a finance user, and then we also have a sales fragment which is created by a different user in a different application. But we are actually combining both. Both are coming from different applications by different users, but we can combine them in and build a one common dashboard. So this is the use case which I wanted to demo. So basically, this is done locally, but you can also do it in the BIP mode and also in the NetWeaver mode. And in the BIP mode, we have a delivered template, that is the online composition template, so you can simply use that. Or else if you want to do something custom, then this is how you do it. And now just opening the repository folder to show you where the bookmarks are stored. So if you see the technical contents and bookmarks, so this is where the bookmarks are stored locally. And I think that's it. So that's the demo. Also, I want to show you. Yeah. Now so this is more or less the same demo. It's just previously we used the custom application, which more or less did the same thing like online composition template. But we will try to do the same thing in the BIP mode, and we will try to use the online composition template, which is delivered by the with the product. So now I have a frag_sales user. This is the design studio in the BIP mode. So the frag_ you will log in with the sales user, and you will try to create an application. So let me just fast forward this. You will use the generic analysis template, and then you will go to the launchpad. After creating the application, you will go to the launchpad, and under documents, go to the folders. So frag_sales, that's the folder which is assigned to the sales user. So this is the application which is created by him. Simply double click on it, and then you can see it's more or less the same like what you see with the generic analysis template. So you will try to create a fragment. So I'm just going to fast forward this one. So we are just trying to create two portable fragments for the smart objects, and sales user is doing this one, as you can see here. So once that is done, next we will log in into the Design Studio with the different user IDs. That is the finance user. So now the second user is creating the smart objects in the VIP mode. So once he has created it, once he has created the application or the generic analysis application, he will log in into the VIP mode with his user ID and password. He will log in into the Launchpad, and then you see he has only access to the frag_finance folder. He will go to that folder and he will run his application which he just created. Let me fast forward all this. And this is the webinar_finance folder. That's the webinar_finance template. So we will try to create the smart objects. As you can see, he's logged in with finance_user, and here also he is saving smart objects. Now we will go back to the, now the administrator will log in into the Design Studio with his credentials, and he will create the application using the online composition template. So as you can see here, you can see both Frag Finance and Frag Sales folders, which the other users were not able to see. So I'll forward this one, and you can see here we are selecting the online composition template. So once we have made the selection, once we created the application, now the administrator will, so application is created. And then now the administrator will log in into the Launchpad with his credentials, and then he will access the application which is created based on the online composition template. As you can see, this is the online composition template. Now you will click on the create, and it will take you to the second page. And in the second page, under this fragment gallery, you see we have sales folder and finance folder. So when you select the sales folder, then you would see all the fragments or the portable fragments which are created by the sales user. And then when you select the finance folder, then you see all the fragments which are created by the finance user. So you can create, you can drag and drop these fragments into the split cell container. And I'll just drag and drop it. So I have a dashboard. Now I just created a dashboard which has the visualizations coming from a salesperson and a finance person. And then I'll simply save it. And once you save it, you can see the tile on the page 1. So you simply, you can create, so once you create different dashboards, so all the tiles will appear here. So if you want to open it, simply select the tile and then click on open. And then it will show you the dashboard. Now let's log in into the CMC to see where these bookmarks are. So I will select under the CMC, select application, and then design. Oh, I want to show this one. Once you select the applications, Design Studio Runtime, on context menu, manage bookmarks. And here you see the different bookmarks which are created by different users. So if you select the fragments, and then you see here all the fragments are listed. And if you select the portable fragments, then they'll show you all the portable fragments. And if you go to the folders, so here are the finance and sales folders are created, and then you also have to make sure you assign proper authorizations to these folders in the TMC, so that only users who have authorizations to access a particular folder can only see that folder and create smart objects in that folder itself. Yeah, so that's the demo I have. So I think I'm done. So I think I've covered all the 3 topics and then also the demo. So I think that's it from my side. So if you have any questions, we can take it.
Is there a need for fragment bookmark?
Fragment bookmarks or portable bookmarks more or less are kind of the same, right, Ravi? So
no, so the need, I would say, is the scenario is where you have an application and assuming that you are redesigning your application. All your so the basic premise on why fragments came into picture was because when you have existing bookmarks and then when you go ahead and then change your application, your bookmarks would break. But there were scenarios where the customers wanted specific components to be preserved as in the previous state, even though we would change the application. So assuming you have multiple panels and you have one panel where you have a chart, when you save this particular chart which is on this panel as a fragment, you can still go ahead and then change all the surrounding panels and then redesign your application without affecting the panel where you have actually saved the fragment. So in such a case, you will still be able to preserve the state of the chart which you have saved it as a fragment, even though the surrounding panels or the surrounding components within that application has changed. So this is not possible using bookmarks. So that's the reason why we have fragment bookmarks, to save the state of an individual component within an application. How can you retrieve a fragment bookmark? That was what the demo was. That's where Sushma showed you. You could use, there's a bookmark object using script. You can actually retrieve all these fragment bookmarks or bookmarks. And you can then start using these fragment bookmarks with the help of the fragment gallery and your split cell container.
Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.